Have you ever heard the story of the Island Boys? Their viral video first captured the internet's attention and had everyone talking. But what happened to them next is a cautionary tale of fame, fortune, and tragedy. Stay tuned as we uncover the highs and lows of their fame and what lessons can be learned from them, discussing their origins. To understand the Island Boys' rise to fame, we must first discuss their origins. Who are the Island Boys, and what's all the fuss about? Born on July 16, 2001, these dynamic twins of Cuban descent, Frankie Venegas and Alex Venegas, had a rough childhood. Their dad passed away when they were young, leaving them to be raised by their single mom. And let's just say, they were no strangers to trouble. They were often involved in petty crimes like robbery and burglary, but would soon get involved in more serious crimes like automobile theft and drug possession. Frankie's high school days didn't last long either. He was just 2 weeks in before he got sent away. And from there, it was a roller coaster ride of run-ins with the law and stints in juvenile detention or on probation. As for his brother Alex, he had his share of troubles, bouncing in and out of juvie and dealing with a Percocet addiction that landed him in the hospital, where he was even pronounced legally dead at one point. These guys were always on the wrong side of the law. Eventually, their behavior got so out of hand that their mom had no choice but to kick them out when they turned 18. And if you think their story couldn't get any wilder, think again. Fast forward to July 2023, and suddenly, videos of them locking lips to promote their OnlyFans account went viral. But an OnlyFans account wasn't the only idea they had ever thought of. During their time behind bars, Alex started pondering a rap career. And we can bet Frankie was cooking up some musical dreams of his own around that time too, since he's always been the more musically inclined of the duo. Despite all the setbacks, the Island Boys somehow found humor in the chaos. We hit rock bottom so many times, but it's like we laugh about it now. Because you learn from it, Frankie shared in an interview with No Jumper. But the thing is, while they may laugh at their past blunders, they are still stumbling into new ones. After all, nobody said the road to success was a smooth one. Identical twins or not, Frankie and Alex Venegas could practically pass as identical twins, thanks to their bone structure, similar facial features, and how their bodies are built. They're like mirror images, and their style was unique. They were always decked out in designer gear, dripping with flashy jewelry, and sporting those diamond-grilled teeth that cost a fortune. Rumor has it that those grills are worth 30,000 eyes each. They've been spotted rocking matching outfits, but their hair and tattoos sealed the deal on their doppelganger status. The Island Boys had their own vibe. You can't miss those tattoos plastered all over their bodies and faces. But wait, it's not just the ink that grabs your attention, it's their wild hairstyles too. Remember when they burst onto the scene with those bleach blonde dreadlocks sticking up like spikes? They've mixed it up with some colorful streaks here and there, but those signature locks made them go viral. Then, there was that jaw-dropping moment on TikTok when they decided to buzz their heads back in April 2022. They went from having crazy hair to barely any hair at all, keeping that distinctive straight across hairline intact. The biggest shock wasn't even about their hair. It turns out they're not identical twins after all. Alex revealed in a now-deleted TikTok Q&A that they're fraternal twins, with Frankie being the older one by 2 minutes. Twin rivalry. You know how sibling rivalry can get pretty intense, right? Well, imagine being in the same line of work as your sibling, where you're constantly compared to each other. That's the situation Frankie and Alex Venegas find themselves in. They might claim there is no rivalry between them, but their actions tell a different story. It's clear there's some tension brewing between these two brothers. So, in a 2021 interview with No Jumper, the Island Boys insisted they weren't competitive with each other. They said they both get attention, so there's no need for rivalry. But, as it turns out, that might not have been the whole truth. They had a pretty awkward live stream where they publicly argued over who the real star was. Thanks to their catchy song, the beef started over, which deserves credit for their viral fame. The clip initially blew up on Frankie's TikTok, racking up millions of views. Alex later posted the official video on his YouTube channel, but it got messy. While Frankie, also known as Kodiak Cred, had been hustling as a rapper since 2020, dropping tracks like Smoke and 9-9 under the name Red 4X, Alex claimed it was his idea that made the video go viral. During a heated TikTok live session in September 2022, Frankie threw some serious shade, accusing Alex of trying to copy him. "You want to be just like me," he said, claiming he wrote the bars. "It looks like there's more to this brotherly bond than meets the eye." Sure, the Island Boys might have a massive following on Instagram and TikTok, but let's not confuse followers with true fans here. While they have some genuine supporters, most of their audience sees them as more of a novelty act. You know, the kind of people you watch for a good laugh. And the proof was their first live performance of I'm an Island Boy in public, just a month after they blew up online, booed of the stage. The Island Boys scored an invite to perform at Club Live in Miami, but let's say it didn't quite go as planned. Instead of applause, they got booed off the stage. And there's a video of the whole cringeworthy ordeal with 21 million views on Facebook alone. And trust me, that's just one of the clips floating around the internet from that humiliating night. But it gets worse. People didn't hold back with their harsh comments about the twins. Social media was flooded with hilarious and brutal roasts that are funnier than stand-up comedy jokes. Even celebrities like Kevin Hart and Snoop Dogg couldn't resist making fun of them. During a 2021 year-end special for Peacock, Snoop summed it up with, "I'm speechless, two goofballs in a pool," while Hart couldn't help but join in on the roast with a mocking rendition of their song, cashing on their fame. Isn't it wild how TikTok fame can turn into serious cash? You're set, even if you've just got that one viral hit. Take the Island Boys, for example. Sure, they're making money from their music streams and sales, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Think about all those club appearances, performances, and sales of merchandise. Plus, they're hustling on YouTube with their vlogs and are not shy about promoting stuff like Dr. Bo Hightower's chiropractic services. These guys know how to cash in on their fame. The Island Boys are also hopping on Cameo, where they dish out personalized videos and sling some merchandise. And get this, they're even dipping their toes into an adult-oriented site called Fansly. Now, as for how much money they're raking in from all these ventures, it's a bit of a mystery. Some experts throw around estimates like $2 million. But even with all that cash, it's not exactly a guarantee for financial security, especially if you're living the high life like the Venegas brothers. Just check out Frankie's Instagram video where he breaks down the cost of his outfit. We're talking about a $18,000 bracelet, a $30,000 pendant, a $60,000 chain, and thousands more in rings and clothes. According to their former manager, Dovie Besner, in a June 2022 interview, it's no surprise they've blown through most of their earnings already, which might explain their venture into online adult entertainment. Besner claims he still owed $150,000 from their Cameo gig. When they were just teenagers behind bars, the Venegas brothers had a light bulb moment and thought, why not give rap a shot? Fast forward to October 2021, and suddenly, a video of the duo spitting rhymes hit Twitter and blew up big time. These brothers were set apart because of their unique looks, like tattoos, blinged out teeth, and eye-catching vertical dreadlocks. The internet couldn't get enough, turning their video into a full-on meme sensation on TikTok, and they even turned down a record deal with Kodak Black. Then, in November of that year, they dropped a slick, entirely produced version of their viral jam, I'm an Island Boy, complete with a music video. And sure, they tried to drum up some hype with a live performance at Club Live in Miami, but let's just say it didn't quite get the hype they wanted. May 2022 came, and the Island Boys scored an invite to talk about their stuff on the reality show Ultimate Social Boxing. To cap it all off, come December, fans got a deep look into their world with the release of the documentary Trolled: The Untold Island Boys Story, shedding light on both their highs and lows. Domestic abuse accusation. Back in January 2022, things got messy when Montasha Chanel went on Instagram Live and accused Frankie Venegas of domestic abuse. The guy was accused of hitting his then-girlfriend, Montasha, and it wasn't pretty. She claimed it wasn't a one-time thing either, but an ongoing pattern of abuse dating back to April 2021. Fast forward to March 2022, and Frankie found himself in hot water again, this time for allegedly getting physical with his brother's girlfriend, and no charges were even filed. But everything doesn't end there. In May 2023, Frankie's troubles continued when he got arrested for domestic battery at an Airbnb in Pompano Beach. He got into it with his girlfriend, ended up slapping her, and even pushed her into a pool, leaving her with a chin injury. The whole thing started with an argument about his past abusive behavior, and let's just say it didn't end well. Frankie eventually got released from Broward County Main Jail later that month, but the drama sure didn't stop. Online beef. The Island Boys aren't strangers to stirring up online beef and have tangled with several prominent social media people. We're talking about everyone from podcaster Adam22 to rapper Blueface and even the infamous Paul brothers Logan and Jake. But they kept going and even rubbed elbows with TikTok sensation Bryce Hall and caught the attention of mainstream celebrities like comedian Kevin Hart and rapper Snoop Dogg. And get that, Hart and Snoop Dogg took their roasting to the next level on their comedy special 2021 and Done. During the show, they couldn't resist poking fun at the Island Boys, with Snoop even holding his head in disbelief while watching their viral debut video. And, of course, Hart had to come in with a mock rendition of their catchy tune. The showdown between the Island Boys and Logan Paul started when they were invited onto Logan's podcast, Impulsive, in December 2021. Things took a turn when they butted heads with Logan's co-host, George Janko, over some financial advice. Janko suggested they invest cash from their viral success if their rap career doesn't work out. But Alex and Frankie weren't having it. They clapped back, saying they didn't need any advice, and even made a bold statement about their bank accounts. Later, they supported Logan at a boxing match, but things got heated when they were allegedly kicked out for tossing shoes, according to online commentator Keemstar. When they entered the arena, they were met with a chorus of boos from Logan's fans, who weren't too pleased about their earlier podcast walk-off. And if that wasn't enough drama, Jake Paul, Logan's brother, weighed in on the controversy on the next episode of Impulsive, calling them out as punks for standing up to Janko. In January 2022, the Island Boys got a gig on Cameo, where celebs make custom videos for their fans, and they were commissioned to give a shout-out to Staff Sergeant Tamez, which would have sounded cool, except it wasn't. Thanks to a Texas-based Army recruiter named Orlando Tamez, the video ended on TikTok. In the clip, the brothers praised Tamez, mentioning stuff like bonuses, paid vacations, and free college, you name it. But the video found its way onto Reddit, specifically in a subreddit called r/Army. And let's just say, it stirred up some drama. It got so heated that a U.S. Army recruiting command rep had to set the record straight, telling NBC they hadn't authorized or paid for the Cameo video. They even launched an investigation and demanded the recruiter take down the TikTok account pronto. As if this wasn't enough drama, something happened again. More trouble. On February 7th, 2022, things took a severe turn at the Venegas brothers' home in Florida. Police showed up because it turns out their childhood friend, Andrew James Thomas, was arrested right on their property. Why was this guy arrested? Well, he was connected to a tragic drive-by shooting that took the life of an 8-year-old girl just 3 days prior. Now, according to Alex Venegas, Thomas came rushing towards him with a gun, asking to keep it in their house. Alex didn't have any of it and said no, but Thomas went ahead and hid the weapon in a closet anyway. And guess what? The SWAT team found it later on. Now, the thing is, the Venegas brothers weren't dragged into the mess, but their manager, Dovie Besner, made it clear to the press that they had no idea about Thomas's shady dealings. They just saw him as a friend from way back when. Besner added, "If we had known what was up, we would never let him set foot on our property." As for Thomas now, he's facing some serious charges: first-degree murder with a firearm, being a felon with a firearm, and attempted first-degree murder with a firearm. It's a challenging situation all around. And after all this went down, Alex Venegas made a public stand against gun violence, creating adult content. If you think you've heard enough of this, brothers, you're wrong, because this part will make you cringe. It seems like the Island Boys, maybe because they've been burning through cash like there's no tomorrow, or maybe just to stay in the spotlight, have taken a pretty surprising turn. They ventured into creating adult content together. Before you freak out, it's not full-blown action, but they've crossed into some NSFW territory, and they've got plenty of solo stuff too, with Frankie sharing a lot of content featuring him with women. So, the Island Boys have taken things up a notch by making many videos where they locked lips. And in at least one of them, they're shirtless. These kissing shenanigans didn't start on Fansly or OnlyFans. The first taste of this wildness was a teaser video on social media where they teased a kiss, but didn't follow through. Then came a 4-way kiss where tongues were definitely involved, and eventually, a full-on smooch video popped up on X, previously known as Twitter. Alex insists they are not romantic, but fans aren't buying it, especially since Alex recently came out as gay after previously saying he was straight, which he used to justify the behavior between him and Frankie. One follower even spoke on their Instagram Live, saying, "No one has an issue with you being gay. Stop the incest though." They still didn't stop after this. They took their lip-locking show to OnlyFans, claiming even their mom is cool with it. The Venegas brothers versus the Paul brothers. Now, let's talk about the Paul brothers, Logan and Jake. Now, regarding social media stardom, these guys are in a league of their own. Logan boasts 27 million Instagram followers and 18 million on TikTok, while Jake's not far behind with 25 million on Instagram and 17 million on TikTok. I mean, those numbers speak for themselves. Meanwhile, the Island Boys, let's just say they're not even close to getting a quarter of the Paul's followers combined. But here's where things get spicy. It's not just about the numbers for the Paul brothers. There's some beef brewing between them and the Venegas brothers, and it all started with a series of events. First, the Island Boys walked out of an interview on Logan's podcast, Impulsive, after he suggested they should be smart with their money in case their music career didn't work out. Then, things escalated when they showed up at one of Jake's boxing matches, causing a scene that got them kicked out. They denied it, but there's video evidence of their exit and a not-so-friendly crowd reaction. So back in 2021, the Island Boys claimed they were toning down their approach to dealing with haters. They used to get into heated shouting matches on live streams pretty often, but they said they were trying to dial it back. When I go live, I like to outsmart people. I like to strategize. I'm not going to talk to you crazy, Alex explained to No Jumper. He even said, I like to get under people's skin, but I'm not going to threaten you. More beef with other celebrities. But despite their claims, they've still found themselves in hot water with some pretty big people, including Snoop Dogg. So, someone might have been stretching the truth a bit there. It's kind of funny how the Venegas brothers' claims of chilling out with their haters don't quite match up with reality. They're anything but low-key. Take Alex threatening to throw down Adam Grand Maison from No Jumper just because he said something Alex didn't like on his podcast. Grand Maison schooled him with his response, but the feud's still simmering. And that's not all. These guys have tangled with other social media people too. There was that time Alex got all aggressive with Aiden Ross on a live stream in August 2023, flashing him and tossing around threats of sexual assault. And let's not forget their ongoing feud with Bryce Hall, aka Bryce Vine, that's been heating up since 2021. Plus, there's video evidence of them trying to throw hands with Jack Doherty, another influencer who's way more popular than they are. Why the Island Boys stand out. But do you know what made the Island Boys stand out immediately? They have a crazy amount of tattoos. Look at the I'm an Island Boy video. They're chilling shirtless in a pool, and those tattoos are front and center. Sure, they've got ink covering their arms and chests, which is pretty standard stuff, but the tattoos on their faces grab your attention. Both brothers have used face tattoos to make a statement and frame their features. Now, face tats aren't rare in the rap game, but the sheer number of them on each Venegas brother, that sets them apart and makes it part of their signature look. So, these tattoos have become a handy way for people to tell the twins apart, especially with their forehead designs. Frankie rocks this bold eagle smack dab in the middle of his forehead, right between his eyebrows. Meanwhile, Alex went for something different and got the number 17 inked in that same spot. Now, Frankie's been all about the ink life for a while. He even got his first tattoo at the tender age of 12, and by 14, he was already rocking hand tats. But he went all in when he got out of juvie at 17. He decided he was destined to be a rapper and went full throttle, covering his whole body in ink. He revealed all this during an impulsive appearance, revealing that his tattoo journey cost him some friends and family. But he sees those face tattoos as a symbol of their commitment to being true to themselves, saying it shows they just don't care about anything. As for Alex, it's unclear when he started his tattoo journey, but one thing's for sure, he's added quite a few since hitting the fame scene. In a TikTok video, he revealed that while most of his cheek tattoos weren't too painful, the ones on his forehead, jaw, and eyelids differed. Despite the Island Boys' big break, they dropped the ball. Their music wasn't top-notch. They didn't plan for the long haul, and they were clueless about handling criticism. Instead of bouncing back, they stuck to their one-hit wonder status and watched their fame fade. Goodbye, fame. And then there's the money situation. They went on a spending spree, living it up with flashy stuff they couldn't afford and brushing off any sensible advice. Plus, things turned darker when one of the brothers got in trouble with the law for domestic battery. Now, they're stuck in this downward spiral, with their careers declining, legal troubles piling up, and their once shiny image all tarnished. Well, their whole life story was a roller coaster ride for the Island Boys. They shot to fame in no time, but their fall from the top was even quicker. The whole novelty of their act wore off pretty fast, and people got bored of their same old style and content. Their follow-up tunes just couldn't capture the spark of their first hit, and their attempts at branching out into YouTube vlogs and reality TV flopped. Their social media feeds became a mess of promotions, and their online personas started feeling fake and phony. Fans started seeing through the act, and the Island Boys lost some serious street cred. Their early videos had this raw, real vibe, but later on, it all felt forced and fake. Then there were their controversial choices with tattoos and appearances. They caught heat for cultural appropriation and insensitivity, with people accusing them of cashing in on a stereotyped version of island life. As their popularity waned, so did their bank accounts. Nightclub gigs and brand deals dried up, and their merch sales took a hit. The twins struggled to adapt to the changing times and just couldn't seem to stay relevant in the fast-paced world of social media. The Island Boys' downfall is like a warning sign flashing in neon lights about the fickleness of internet fame. It's wild how they shot to the top so quickly, but they came crashing down just as fast. It's a real eye-opener to how fleeting virality can be in today's social media-driven world. But still, there are people who believe those twins had something special. Their charm and unique style clicked with them, but they just couldn't keep the momentum going. They got stuck in this loop, unable to evolve and keep things fresh. And that's what ultimately did them. It's a harsh lesson, but hopefully others can learn from their mistakes. The Island Boys' journey is like a wake-up call about the highs and lows of online fame. Sure, it can catapult you to stardom and let you share your voice with the world, but it's also a slippery slope. The more famous you get, the more you risk losing your privacy, authenticity, and sanity. Watching these twins go from regular guys to overnight sensations to another forgotten chapter in internet history drives home how unpredictable this fame game can be. It's a roller coaster ride with no guarantees, and sometimes getting lost in the chaos is easy. If you enjoyed our video, click on the one on the screen now.